Welcome to YieldNerd, an educational show about how you can acquire and manage yield. Welcome, Yield Nerds, to the second part of episode 4, where we will take several individual bonds and analyze them and understand some of those buzzwords we talked about earlier, understand how they are presented, and how you can make decisions on the buy sell. So let's get going on that. Well, we have seen this screen before. This is from, I want to say, about a week ago in September 2022. And this is on Schwab, and my usual disclosures apply. I'm not a wealth management advisor. I'm not here to ask you to buy or sell anything. This is just educational, and I also am not endorsing Schwab. So having said that, I thought we would walk through how to buy it if that is a decision you choose to make. So let's say we want to buy that treasury right there. It's a 1-year treasury, pays about 4%. Remember, that is after local and state taxes. So assume you were to click on that. You would see a screen that looks like what you're seeing here. And bear with me. And so what you're seeing here is that the yield to maturity that you saw of 4.03 is actually the best of all the available treasuries for that duration. So as you can see, the yield to maturity itself changes, and it is sorted in the descending order of the value. But you do have the option of buying this treasury, which pays 1.375% coupon. Remember the discussion we talked earlier about, and this probably is episode 2 or 3 or something like that, where we said during COVID, there were treasuries and there were corporate bonds that paid a much, much lower coupon. Those were, at that time, something that was available. Here is another one that only pays a 0.125% coupon. So ask yourself this question. If you were to walk today into a street corner where there are two banks, one bank pays 0.125%, another bank pays 4%, where are you going to park your money? Obviously, you are going to go to the bank that offers you a bigger yield, and the market is adjusting for that. So the folks who are offering the 0.125% coupon are saying, hey, you don't need to pay me $100 for my $100 par value. Pay me just $96.25. How about that? This particular offering says pay me $97.35 for a $100 par value. However, the coupon value is 1.375%. You are welcome to Google yield to maturity calculators, and you can punch through all of these numbers and say, if my coupon is 1.375 and my duration is 1 year and the par value is 97.35, or sorry, the purchase price is 97.35 for a par value of 100, out comes the number 4.026. In other words, buying this bond, which only pays a 1.375% coupon, except paying $97.35 instead of $100, is the same as buying something else that pays a 4.03% effective coupon. Let me say that one more time and use a different example. Buying a bond that only pays 0.125% coupon, that is a meager coupon by today's standards. Buying a bond that pays a 0.125% coupon for a duration of a year, except every $96.25 buys $100. So if you waited a year, you would automatically get approximately $3.75 extra for the $96.25 you paid, and you get that 0.125% in coupons. Similarly, here you would have gotten $2.65 extra and the 1.375% coupon. That's the way to think through that. And so if you were to say, okay, I think I want to buy this, I would caution you to pay attention to this column here that says minimum. And here's why. In some cases, those who are willing to part with their 1.375% bond, and they say, okay, you can have it for $97.35, even though I paid $100 for it, want you to invest at least 200 times 1,000 or $200,000 as the minimum order. To the extent that that is the kind of money you want to put in, you would pick that. Perhaps you want to put in something between 1,000 and 3 million. You would pick the second best option, which at the end of the day in yield to maturity terms is only 1,000th of 1% away from the best available option. However, 6 months later, when you look for a coupon, this is going to pay a very meager amount. So if you are willing to go a year without a big coupon, you can make the same kind of yield, approximately the same kind of yield as this one, which pays the 1.375% coupon, is really what this is saying. So let's assume you were to click on that. Let's see what happens. Here is what it is going to tell you. And this is a different bond, and we're going to go into 4 of these so you understand how this works and how to trade them. And let me move this along again. So what this tells you is this has a duration of a year and 15 days from, I want to assume this was September 15th that I took the screenshot on. This pays a coupon of 2.875%. Because it pays a 2.875%, and today's prevailing rate is around 3.9 something percent, the owners don't have to discount it by a huge amount. So they are asking you for $98.93, give or take, for their $100 par value. So said differently, if you are willing to accept the 2.875% coupon rate for the next year and 15 days, you could lend to the United States, which again is a fantastic credit rating, and I don't want to discuss credit ratings in this particular session. You get to buy a $100 bond for $98.93, which then leads to a yield to maturity of approximately 3.94%. So that is the sum total of all the numbers that are presented, which then enable you to make the decision of, do I want to make a net effective 3.94% and make a coupon of 2.875? So let's try one more so we get familiar with that. We are going to ignore a couple of terms. Yield to worst, I don't want to talk about that now. Callable versus not callable, we're going to punt. The timing, we're going to punt. Assume you can accept the defaults for those to the extent that you're buying treasuries, and we'll dive deeper when we look at corporate bonds and things like that. So that is the net summary of all the available options when buying this treasury. So let's look at a few other examples. Here is a treasury that is now for almost 3 years. For almost 3 years, this treasury pays 3.125%. And on top of that, here's how interesting this is. This is available for $97.85 for a par value of 100. So if you paid $97.85 today and you waited almost 3 years, the government will buy it back from you for $100. And you can see the net effect of it here. So this trade here is saying, I want to buy $7,000 worth of this treasury, but I'm only going to pay $6,849 for it. Why is that? Because you're buying it below the par value. The accrued interest says the previous party owned this security for a certain number of days. I am purchasing it now, and I want to compensate the previous party for the interest they already earned for the partial period between the last coupon payment and the date of purchase. So you are effectively paying them off the interest that they would have accrued anyway. So in effect, you are spending $6,870 to own $7,000 worth of treasuries. That $7,000 worth of treasuries pays a coupon of 3.125%, and it will do so for the next almost 3 years. And the net effect of it is a little bit extra in par value and the coupon for a combination of 3.916% in yield to maturity. Let's look at another one. Let's see if you can figure this out. How much does this bond pay? It pays that paltry 0.125%. What am I paying for this bond? I am paying $97 and almost 10 cents. When the government buys it back from me, I will get $100. So there is almost a $3 appreciation for the honor of holding this bond for 9 months, plus the 0.125%. And if somebody were to give you $3 for every $100 for less than a year, that's a pretty good interest rate. And that is what this computation shows, that the yield to maturity, the net effect of earning an interest of almost $3 on the discount of the bond when the par value matures at 100, and the coupon of 0.125 is the same as a 3.954% yield. That is what that is explaining. One last example to just drive it in. Here is another one, 9 months, coupon rate of 0.125. This particular party is buying $5,000 of this bond, but it is only costing them $4,854. That is where the discount is factoring in. Because the coupon rate is really low, 0.125%, the interest accrued is also a very, very small number. However, it is still interest that belongs to the seller. And so you are offering to pay off the interest that has been accrued but not paid out, and you will get that interest as a percentage of the $5,000 that you bought for the duration that you hold the bond. And when the bond matures on June 30th, 2023, you will make $5,000 for spending $4,856 today and a coupon of 0.125% along the way. That was not hard, was it? Let's recap what we learned. We learned that with a few clicks of the button, you can buy a very low risk, very high income asset, which is the United States Treasury bond, as it stands. And this goes back to the previous part of episode 4 as well. If your term or if your duration is south of 5 years, the United States Treasury is a phenomenal after-tax asset compared to any other alternative in the market today. Lastly, if you ever wanted to know the risk-free way to become a millionaire via growth investing, the answer is very simple. All you need to do is start with $1 billion. And with that, we will conclude this episode. It's short and sweet. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to Yield Nerd, a do-it-yourself show for yield accumulation and management.